attending. Really, it was Christina. I'm good to start, right?
Yes, you are.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I'm really pumped. If you guys know me, my sphere is like literally what I'm about. I think for me, it's always been the easiest way to generate business. And I think for a long time, I've only been in business for 4 years, but for early on when we started getting traction, we started having, people would ask us, Meg and I, to do, hey, can you talk about your sphere and talk about what you do to work on your sphere? And it actually has taken me a long time to unpack what is actually happening when we're engaging our sphere. I'm a very shoot from the hip kind of guy, but I did my homework today and I'm prepared, and I can't wait to share with everybody kind of what I've unpacked. So this is kind of a little bit of a test in terms of me actually formalizing for us what has worked for engaging your sphere. I know it will work for all of you. I know that what we're doing is not unique. We're not pioneering. We're not doing something that hasn't been done before. We're just doing a handful of things at an okay level that keeps us in touch with the people that know us and love us. So first big thing, let's identify what your sphere of influence is. These are people who know who you are. These are not necessarily leads. They're not necessarily warm or cold. We don't necessarily know or care if they're selling real estate now or in the future. We know that everybody's going to be involved in some sort of real estate transaction unless you live in a tent in the woods. And even then, you probably need some sort of land in order to do that. So real estate is something that every single human being you encounter is going to be a conversation you can have. And that even means that if you are talking with other agents, they might be potential downline opportunities for you at KW. We profit shared like $41,000 last month for a 2-year-old market center. So that's awesome. Anybody that you communicate with is going to be a potential future source for business. And we're going to talk today about how to stay top of mind with those people. So your sphere of influence are people who you know. These are your friends, your family, your neighbors. These are people you do social engagements with. These could be other parents on your son's lacrosse team. These could be your bandmates if you play in a band. These could be car community friends of yours if you're like me, and I see Mike on here too, and you spend way too much money and time on your four-wheeled transportation. Whatever it is that you do, it could be the other parents on the PTA. It could be anybody, your gardening club, your book club, anything that you do, the guy that sells you the Taylor ham, egg, and cheese every morning at the store, everybody that knows who you are, your gas station attendant. I'm recruiting my gas station attendant. He's in Booton. If you see him, don't take him away from me. He's awesome. Every human being you come in contact with, that's your sphere. These are people who know who you are. And if you see the same people every day and they don't know who you are, then that's something we're going to talk about today and we're going to work on. Because every engagement you have, every person you talk to, you can have an impact on. And when we think about it that way, when we think about it as, yes, everybody could be a source for business. They could be buyers, sellers, renters, investors, or future downline. When we think about it like that, everybody can theoretically have transactional volume value to them. But further than that, if we look at everybody that we talk to as somebody we can affect in a positive way, it makes it really easy to have that change. When you go and you get you go and get gas, if you're making conversation with the gas station attendant who nobody ever wants to talk to, there's an opportunity there. The person that's making your breakfast sandwich in the morning when you go to the deli and you go to get your Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, you could just go take your sandwich and give them money, but you could also engage with them and actually build a relationship. Every single person you could touch in a specific way. If we shift our mentality to that, it allows us to I think a lot of the world's problems will right themselves in a lot of ways if we're actually thinking about the person on the other side as a human that we want to know and we want to engage with. So that's my metaphysical thing. We'll get back on track here, but three main pillars of sphere. I'm going to drop my participant window and go to chat window. I'm terrible at typing. Forget it. You guys can just take notes. Three main pillars of sphere. We have contact, awareness, and attention. I tried to come up with a fourth so I could make a really cool analogy. I was trying to find an R pillar so I could make care that pillar, but I failed miserably at that. I don't do that well. So contact, awareness, and attention. All right. So the contact pillar is probably the most functionally similar to what we do as a real estate agent. So contact means that you're going to put yourself in situations where you can contact your student. Thank you, Christina, for and Kay for putting that stuff up. That's super helpful. Contact is what we do every day. So if you guys, when we get up in the morning, wherever you do your prospecting, who's like me and they do their prospecting most of the time in the morning? Okay, a few of us. Please, here we go. Raise your hand. Be honest. Raise your hand if you don't prospect ever. Thank you for your honesty. Raise your hand, and this should be everybody, if you don't prospect as much as you should. That's all of us, right? Okay. So we're all going to commit now to prospecting regularly. So that doesn't mean you have to call expireds and FSBOs and get yelled at. New agent learning the ropes. Love it. That's all good. You know people. So this is all that. Working with your sphere is going to be something that's going to make a lot of sense to you. We're prospecting daily. Can't find where to raise hand. Good. I actually don't know where it is either, Jamie. I think in reactions. I'm figuring it out too. We're going to prospect daily, right? That's part of our job. My real estate coach tells me, if you don't prospect, you did not work. You didn't show up. Everything that you do, you might as well go home to your family and say, I didn't do anything today. And now that my 6-month-old daughter requires food and sustenance and a roof over her head, that motivation matters a little bit more than when I was selfish and just supporting myself and my, things I want to spend my money on. But at the end of the day, if we're not prospecting, we're not in business. We're not working. You can't do anything without leads. If you look at everything Gary Keller says, these are the pillars of business: leads, leverage, and listings. If we're not getting leads, no coincidence that's the bottom of our little triangle here. Without leads, we can't get anywhere. So when we're prospecting daily, that's a normal mode of operation for a real estate agent. So we're talking about this contact piece here as a huge pillar of our of what we're going on for talking about sphere. That contact portion is everything, because we're contacting people regularly. We have to have people to contact if we're going to prospect. So if we're contacting our sphere, these should be the easiest contacts we make. All that has to happen is we need to contact them regularly. There's a ton of different ways to do that. Maintaining connectedness with their lives and be interested in their lives is a really, really important thing. If you guys followed me or Megan on Instagram or Facebook, or anything about us and you knew we were having a kid, that's a great time. We weren't in real estate. That is a great time to reach out and say, hey, Meg, Kurt, congrats. Congrats on having the kid. That was 6 months ago. 3 months ago. How about, hey, how's everything going? How's parent life? Now, 6 months old. Oh my gosh, the time must be flying. You can, if you're connected with people, you can find out those things. Xavier, obviously we share a wall between our offices, but like the ability to reach out where I'm following you on Instagram, I'm following you on Facebook, and I can follow up and say, hey man, baby's growing like crazy, huh? How are you guys doing? How's everything? I'm staying involved, and legitimately, I care. Like, that's awesome. That's a friend of mine, and I want to know about their life. I want to know what they're doing, and maintaining that connectedness, knowing about what they're doing, allows us to make this process easier. If we're just going at it transactionally, then we're not even thinking about asking that question. We're just thinking about getting business from them. And that's not a great way to go about it. If you call them and they know, and this is a friend, and they know that the only reason you're calling is for business, and they're going to feel used. We don't want to do that. So we're going to ask those questions. We're going to ask the things about their life. We're going to get involved. One, because we care, we should care. And it's going to help make our job easier. It's going to bond them to us, where they think like, wow, that's really cool. Kurt called me, and checked in and was seeing how we're doing. Meanwhile, they have no idea that what my main purpose of calling was to tell them about how crazy the real estate market is and remind them that I'm in real estate. And I can ask for business if I'm feeling comfortable. You should always ask for business if you're on the call. That is the goal. You need to get comfortable with those scripts. We're not here to work on that today, but we will. I'll touch on that a little bit. But maintain connectedness, be interested in their lives. That's part of contact. Another part of contact is strategic engagement. Any sort of opportunity where you have to engage with them, be at events with events are a great opportunity where you're at your son's lacrosse game, and you can make it a point to talk to every single parent that's at that lacrosse game. Hey, how's everything going? What's new with work? What's new with the family? Man, our team is great this year. That's crazy. I didn't know my son had any kind of athletic ability, to be honest. Like whatever it is that you're going to say, you're at gymnastics, you're at cheerleading, I'm thinking like a parent. That's so weird. You're anywhere where you're at your mechanic shop, you're picking up your car from an oil change, and you're talking to the guys there like, hey, how's everything going? How's business? You guys, we're all in business. So if you're not asking business owners how business is, that's a missed opportunity. Business owners love to talk about business. You're at your dentist's office, you're talking to the dentist. Hey, how's everything going? How are you guys adjusting to post-pandemic life? I mean, that must be hard with, because everybody's not masked. If you're, that's a great opportunity to talk to them. That's your opportunity. Events, you might be, my dentist is your client. You are damn right he is. It's because I've prospected my dentist, Matt. Very nice. My primary care doctor and my dentist, I both sold houses to. And the reason is it's not hard to be in there. You have a captive audience. Every time you're any place like that, you have a captive audience. You're talking to your accountant. You know how many people your accountant could refer you? That should be the top of your list. You're an attorney friend of yours. My attorney is my dad, but you're an attorney friend of yours, like real estate attorneys, estate planning attorneys, they can refer you a ton of business. Those are people we want to stay connected with. But if we do so in a personal way, it's going to weigh so much heavier on that relationship than if you just call them for business. I'm not calling my accountant to ask him to refer me to people. I'm calling my accountant to ask him about my accounting, but I'm also asking him about his business. Hey, how is it crazy right now? Are things changing? What's new in your world? That investedness is going to turn into them asking those reciprocal questions. My dentist, in one of those cases, Matt, as you brought up that he's my client, he let me sell his Wyckoff $900,000 house when I was like a year and a half in the business. The only reason that mattered was like I asked him questions about his business, and we talked business, and he knew that I was interested in him, in his business, in his livelihood. That's the type of person that's going to trust you with selling their house. And that's the headspace we want to be. Proximity is a great one. If you've ever thought, how do I call my friend to ask for business, or call them out of the blue, somebody I haven't talked to in a long time. We scripted about this yesterday, somebody I haven't talked to in years. That's an easy script where you just want to reconnect with somebody that you feel like would be a good thing. Hey, Bill Boswell uses this all the time, and this is one of my favorite like reconnection scripts. Hey, I was just driving by your house, or I was just driving by where you grew up, and you popped into my head, and I know I haven't talked to you in like 10 years, but I just wanted to say hello. I was in the neighborhood. Hope all is well. Hope the family's good. and it gives you an opportunity to connect. So that's your proximity. It's all about contact. It's regularity. So everything that you're going to do, you're trying to build in regularity there. You can do that through, opportunistic things, but you can also do it through times where you can put this in your database, or put this in your task list, put this in your to-do list. Have you guys heard of DTD2? Delta Tango Delta 2, because I don't know if I'm saying that accurately, but DTD2 is a system. I think it was created by a KW guy, but it's a system for calling people calling your database regularly. And the coolest thing about DTD2 is you're calling 2 letters of the alphabet, like last name begins with A and W. You're calling 2 letters of the alphabet per week. And that cycles you through the whole alphabet every 13 weeks, which means you're hitting everybody once a quarter. So if you're doing DTD2 at minimum with everybody at minimum, you're communicating with everybody every 3 months. Can we all admit that we're probably not communicating with our entire sphere every 3 months? But that's a great practice to get in. You don't need to ask them for anything. You should, but you don't need to ask them for anything. You could just call to check in once a quarter. One of my high school classmates is a financial guy I guess he was with UBS. I don't know where he moved to, but he called me. He forward scripted me on the DTD2 every quarter for like the last 6 years. And it took me until I got into real estate to realize what he was doing. He was actually like slow prospecting me over the course of 6 years. Yeah, fine. I guess I need life insurance, whatever it is that you're selling me. But there was never a hard sell, but I know that he knows that I'm going to go to him first now. He's worked hard at that. And I never would have known had I not been in real estate. And honestly, he's doing a great job at it. And he's buying a house with me now. And we're good. But that communicating every quarter allows us to stay top of mind with everybody. You don't need to hard pitch them. I feel like just connecting and finding out who, how their life is going, what they're doing for work. Do you guys know the Ford script? Can we put that in the chat too? Ford script is one of the easiest ways to communicate with people when you're contacting. So Ford script is you're asking people about their family, that's F, O, occupation, R is recreation, and D is dreams. So family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Now, occupation is the door. That's the door opening up, because you ask them, if I said, okay, how's everything going with work? What's new? And she would tell me, and then she would have to ask, just to be nice, she would have to ask me, well, that's great. How's everything going with you? And I would say, oh, it's crazy right now. Real estate market's really insane. It's really, really good time to be a seller. It's been a little bit challenging to be a buyer, but we're even finding them homes. It's a really crazy time. What's your real estate plans? Have you guys thought about moving anytime soon? There's huge doors that open up when you're asking them about occupation. And then we have 2 other things, recreation and dreams, to just get off that. And now we don't have to feel like we're selling anymore. If you try to close after O, they're gonna know what you were calling them for. But if you follow up with, what are you doing for fun these days? You still, I don't know, I'm staring at Mike. Are you still, you still got that car you're working on? Whatever it is, what do you got planned for the future? You going on vacation? That's your dreams. Ford's an easy way. It's a crappy car. It's an easy way for you to have an honest, real conversation with somebody, find out what they're about, and then just check in. And then you could do that in another 3 months. And then you could do that in another 3 months. And it's easy, because now we're going to remember what we talked about, and we're going to write that down. So when I call them in 3 months, I could say, hey, how's everything going? I know we spoke, back in February, and you said things were going good. You guys were going on vacation. How was that vacation? How was that? You guys went to Aruba? Oh yeah, it was great. We've always been dying to go there. You just keep snowballing, and you're connecting with these people, and you're learning. So these people. I don't know why I say that, but everybody is these people. Contact. That's pillar number one. So I spent a lot of time on that, but that's pillar number one. Contact regularly. It's part of your prospecting. Okay. Number two, this is where it gets a little bit more traditional. Second pillar is awareness. So this, you could kind of replace awareness with advertising, even though I'm not expecting you to put yourself on a billboard for the sole sake of your friends seeing that you're on a billboard. But it's important that you create awareness that your sphere knows what you do. I think some people get this wrong, where when they're creating awareness, this is, we've seen a lot lately where people are kind of hating on the life of listing social media posts, where a realtor just constantly posts just listed, just sold, under contract. It shouldn't be everything that we're posting, but by necessity, it probably should be a little bit, maybe a quarter of what we're posting. If you're just posting about real estate, but not actually saying anything that you're doing, how do we know that you're actually selling real estate? We don't. If you're not posting, there are some realtors that subscribe to, I'm going to be on social media all the time, and then literally literally never talk about real estate. That doesn't help either. We need to make people aware that this is what we're doing. We need to create awareness that we are in real estate. The easiest way to do this, the lowest hanging fruit that you could possibly do, is your life of listing posts. That's your just listed, just sold, under contract. Coolest thing about KW Prosperity is that people are, every week we have that listing of the week. So if you don't have listings, you can promote that listing of the week. That's a great opportunity for you to look like you're doing your business. Perception is reality. And honestly, most people have no idea. They have absolutely no idea what is your business, what is somebody else's business. You obviously need permission before you share anything. If you don't have permission, you can't share it. But if you do have permission, like our KWP listing of the week, you can use that to let people know that you're in real estate and you're thinking about this all the time. So that's awareness. Constantly reminding the public about who you are and what you do. You could also do this in a lot of strategic local ways. If you have a community that you are heavily involved in, if your home base, my home base is Kinnelon. I'm gonna live in Kinnelon probably forever. It's just what my family does, apparently. I'm gonna do everything I can to get in front of Kinnelon people. Oh, school yearbook needs a sponsor? I got it. Baseball, no problem. I'm there. There's some agents at our office that are doing this really well. Matt Weiss dominates. He puts his face everywhere, and it's awesome. It's awesome because it's awareness. It's not the only piece that's going to get you calls, but it's going to get a piece that's going to remind your sphere, man, I see you everywhere. And when you start getting those comments from people, I see your sign everywhere. And in the back of your head, you're like, I have 2 listings in town. What do you mean you see my sign everywhere? But the bottom line is, if their perception is that they see you everywhere, that's their reality. They see you everywhere. You must be selling every house, even though you've got that one listing on Faison Lakes Road that will never sell for one reason or another. It doesn't matter. If that one sign makes them think that they see your face everywhere and they're equating you to real estate, that's awesome. If you've never sold a house in your town, but that's your hometown and you want to do business in it, start figuring out places you can sponsor that have traffic. Maybe it's the grocery store. You put yourself on the front of the cart. I've never been a huge fan of that, but that's just because I have good coverage in my town. That's a great way to get in front of people. Don't go broke doing it, but put yourself in front of people. If you cannot spend money, not spend money. But if you have to spend money, don't run away from growing that awareness. Because if you have that sphere that you're talking to every quarter, because we're committing to that, we're committing to prospecting every day, we're committing to calling our sphere every quarter at least. Now they see you just sponsored a business-sized card in the school phone book for $100 for the phone book. And now you're calling them every quarter and they see your face in there. You better believe you're going to get a call. Or maybe you're dropping off a market update into their mailbox of people just your friends. You don't need to print out 1,000. You don't need to do every door direct mail, but maybe you're just dropping it on your friends. Hey, we just printed out this month's market update. Just wanted to drop this off. If you guys have any questions, just wanted to update you. The market's been crazy. This is everything that's sold. Something like that. Simple. We're just getting in front of people, and we're getting in front of people regularly. Anytime you can partner locally, that is not breaking the bank. You want to do that. Anytime that you can partner locally, you want to do that. Cool. So that's pillar 2. We had contact as pillar 1. We have awareness as pillar 2. Pillar 3 is my favorite. This is attention. So we can communicate with people. That might be the most important. Awareness is kind of that thing that covers everything. That's making sure that your face is covered in a bunch of different locations. But attention is easily described as giving the people what they want. If you're trying to get attention, if you're trying to maintain your sphere's attention, that means you're doing things that are allowing them to pay attention to you. This is my favorite area because it literally just requires you to be yourself publicly. I know that might be scary for some people, but being yourself publicly might mean that you're a parent, or you're a spouse, or you are an avid golfer, or I'll go back to all mine. If you guys are friends with me on Facebook, you already know what I'm about. You already know what my attention things are. I drive a bright green BMW. I have a 6-month-old daughter, and I play the drums. If you guys are friends or follow me on Instagram or Facebook, raise your hand and affirm that it's true, please. It doesn't take much to know that. It's just being yourself publicly, and it's cool, and it's the easiest thing to do. So know what your identity is. It doesn't need to be complicated. I know, everybody's like, oh, well, you do cool stuff. It's like, and I'm a real, thank you, Matt. Totally correct. And you're bringing it home. And I'm a realtor. Obviously, I'm talking about all those things. But you're right. I needed to lean on that. Everybody knows what I'm about. My music friends know that I sell houses. My house friends know that I play music. You don't need to have some people do, and I get why. But you don't necessarily need to have your real estate account and your personal account because how are you going to get your friends to follow you only posting about real estate? That's hard. That's a big ask. Are you really that interesting on your real estate only page, or are you just posting life of listing things? And if you're just posting life of listing things, you're not getting the attention. You're not giving them the entertainment that they want. And I say entertainment very loosely. We're in a reality world. When you watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, they are just that way. They're not, yes, the producers push them into scripts and stuff like that, but we're in a world where people are watching, reaction videos on YouTube. We're watching 15-second TikToks. The fact is, it's not about creating, it's about documenting. So if you're in a house that's interesting and you see something wacky or something super cool, document it and post it for people, because that's going to be intriguing. Chip and Joanna Gaines are not drama-filled people. Fixer Upper has no drama, but the thing that makes it interesting is that there's a human element to it that is undeniable. People love watching humans go through life, and when we realize that and we can be part of that and that can affect our business, that's a really huge opportunity. So attention, I hesitate to make attention, the name of the attention pillar, actually entertainment, but you could make a case for that. We're not here to make anything that's not authentic, but we're here to document the authentic things. You did something that if you like to paint in your free time and you painted something that you're proud of, put it up. If you love to go to Rangers hockey games, put it up, because you're going to network with all those Ranger fans. If you like this or that or whatever, put it up. You want to entertain people. You want to capture their attention, and you don't need to do it in a way that's disingenuous. Let your personality shine. Be multifaceted. Let people understand what you're about. Are you just a diehard Villanova fan because you went there? Like, that's awesome too. Whatever it is that falls into that category, that's a huge opportunity for you to entertain people. People won't be interested in everything, but they're not going to tune you out. There's not one music related friend or fan of mine that unfollows me because I post about real estate all the time. In fact, it usually yields business. And they're like, hey man, I really digging that last song you put out, but like, can I ask you a question about real estate? Can we talk about work right now? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. What do you want to know? Oh, I'm thinking about buying a multifamily. All it takes is you crossing those interests. People might not be interested in any of them, but the fact is they see who you are and they're interested in you. I think we short sell that people are actually interested in us too. There's a lot to everybody's lives, and there's a lot to unpack. People are interested in that. So that's a third pillar, attention. So we have contact, hitting people regularly. We have awareness. That's your advertising component. And then we have attention. And that's kind of your social media, who you are in public, the things you do, and the way you let that stuff come out. So those are my three pillars of Sphere. I think that kind of sums up what, for me, how we compartmentalize. And you can even look at those three things and constantly assess, like, how am I doing this? How am I doing in my business with these things in mind? Am I contacting people regularly? Do they have any awareness of what I'm doing? And do I have their attention? And attention is an easier metric to find out, because if you post a video on Instagram and you can see how many views it had, you can see how many likes you had for one thing or another. And don't get caught up with that. It's not important about their approval, but it is a metric to find out, are you posting the right things? Are the things you're posting keeping people's attention? It's not always about likes and views and all that stuff, but they do provide the only real metric other than business, other than actual inbound calls, that you can have. So few key things there. Any thoughts, questions, comments, any ahas?
How do you ask for a business on your Ford calls without sounding salesy?
It's a good question. So for me, not sounding salesy on my Ford calls. Okay, I know this is kind of a trap because you know what I sound like on my Ford calls. But when we're on a Sphere call and we're using the Ford script, when we ask about occupation, we can go deep on occupation. If I'm asking, I'm trying to think of a friend that would, if I'm asking, my former partner at the studio that I used to own, how everything's going, I can have an honest conversation about how everything's going with him. He's not going to not ask me. If he doesn't ask me about how work is going, I'm probably just going to let it go. Then the door is not open. If they just legitimately don't ask me about how work is going after I ask them, I don't know that I could get into that scenario. Maybe I have a selfish friend. Or I could just butt in and say, if they're, complaining about business being crazy, I could jump on the bandwagon. I can mirror and match their tone and say, yeah, man, business has been crazy for us. We've been running around like, it's so hard getting these buyers accepted, but we're just hustling and getting it done. And, I can't let my clients be homeless. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, maybe there's a door open there. The key there for me is just to be real. I think when we're talking occupation, you can ask for business in a really, really real way, just by talking about what you're doing. So I hope that kind of makes sense. What are you guys' other thoughts? Ahas, things you're going to change in your business, things you're going to implement immediately besides committing to lead gen every day?
So
Hey, Kurt?
you're
Oh,
I don't know how to raise my hand.
You're good. Go for it, Jamie.
So what's your, like, for someone that's realistically, I'm not going to just call 100 people. It's just not who I am.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on, like, what's the best way to touch them? Because I feel like the command nurture thing, I feel like it's not, there's no personal, there's no personal thing for that. So I feel like if I'm doing that, but that's, either once a month or every 2 weeks or whatever, what other than directly texting them, what's another way to kind of tackle, a couple hundred people in a more personal kind of way?
Well, that's a great question. So we're basically between a personality-less email drip and a direct contact via phone or text, right? So what lies between what kind of contact lies between those things? Nothing.
Wait, what's the right?
There's nothing between it. If you want to be more personal than email, you're going to call or text them.
Okay.
There's no middle ground to that. If we want to be personal, we're going to be personal. And and I think the easiest way around it is to just say, like you just said, I'm not the person that's going to make 100 calls a day, and I completely agree. I'm not that person either. It would be impossible for me to make 100 calls a day calling my sphere. Right. It would take me all day because I'm going to be on, I can't have a 5-minute sphere call. It's not going to happen. It's going to sound disingenuous. But what I can do is I can call 5 people and have 5 conversations.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I can call a small number of people and make that count. Because if I can call 5 people that I have a real conversation with, I know that I will get more business than if I call 100 people that I have a short salesy conversation with. Your success rate is a lot higher. And the people that whether they're family, friends, neighbors, parents of your daughter, other people you see at your dog's groomers, I don't know, people you see at the dog, I'm just seeing it because I see the dog. I almost had Turbo over here with me too, but those 5 contacts, that should replace for somebody that's, when you're engaging with your sphere calls, Gary Keller basically says it's 12 calls to 2 contacts or 2 appointments. That's a really good ratio. If you call 6 people a day, every day you'll have a meaningful real estate conversation. Statistically, that's really awesome. So you don't need to call those 100 people. And that email drip is great. And that's your advertisement. That's that advertisement thing where they're just seeing what Jamie Simon does. They're seeing your listings. They're seeing you on the road. They're seeing the crazy things you've seen in real estate. They're seeing your market updates. And then when you call them, you could just be a human being. That's it. And they're gonna ask you about business. As long, if you forward them, you're gonna ask them about, how's everything going with work, or if they don't work, if you're talking with a mom who doesn't work, like, how's everything going at the house? You guys, how have you been handling the pandemic? Was it stressful? Did you guys manage? Like, what was that like? And just be real. They're going to ask you about real estate, and you're going to tell them that your Q1 and Q2 is sick this year. You're already blowing numbers out. It's unbelievable. I can't, God willing, it's been great. Whatever that is, that contact is going to do way more for you than dialing 100 people cold. So they're not the same call volume, but it's less calls to a higher success ratio. You just have to be engaging, because if they are paying attention to your email, your impersonal email drips, they're going to be psyched to actually hear you. Maybe they have a question. Maybe I'm not going to bother Jamie with this, but all of a sudden you're calling them on their phone. And they're like, oh my gosh, Jamie, how's it going? I was meaning to ask you, what did that home on 123 Main Street sell for? It's like, oh, that was a bidding war. That was nuts. It sold 80K over ask. Whatever. It's a really good opportunity to get in there. So that's a great question. Matt, you had something?
You answered it.
Cool. Good. It's because I talk too much.
Kurt, quick question. So I'm actually glad. I think you might have answered it in your response to Jamie, but do you have like a personal metric for success daily on like how many contacts you want in your database?
How many contacts I want in my database?
How many contacts you want to make in a day to your database? Sorry,
yeah, I do have a metric. It's less important than my pending per week metric. Okay. That is, I think we have to understand what metrics matter the most. I think there's a lot of people that it's very important for them to understand every part about their dials to contacts to appointments to pendings to closings, right? We want to know that whole economic system, but there are at times or at periods in our business where I'm in a good season right now myself. The only thing that matters to me is pendings, and I have an honest conversation with myself every day about where we're at with our business. Am I doing the things that I need to do? If I don't have enough pendings, there's only one solution. Just got to make more calls. That's it. That's it. We tell ourselves so many stupid things about why we don't have business. It's really simple. It's really simple. Great question. Thanks for bringing that up. Anybody else? Thoughts, questions, ahas? Sarai, what's up?
Hey, I just want to say today I actually wanted to touch base with some people I haven't talked to in about 3 months. And I have a walkthrough tomorrow. And it was just, I was going to call him. It's just out of nowhere, I just called him. So Perfect. It's, so make calls. It's good. So tomorrow I have a walkthrough and hopefully it works out good.
Oh, good. I thought you said you had to walk through like they were closing with somebody else. I was like,
no. So I called him. I wasn't going to call him. I said, just let me try. I called him and he picked up and then had a good conversation. Mm-hmm. And then tomorrow I'm going to go there at 12 o'clock for a walkthrough.
That's awesome.
And, to talk over. I mean, let's see. I'm getting my foot, I'm going to have my foot in the door. So,
yeah.
And I would have never had it if I didn't call.
Absolutely. That's it. And Sarai, you've actually had, I've noticed an awareness piece of yours. I don't know if it came down, if you guys moved it, but you had your sign parked on Keel Ave for a freaking year. And like everybody's seen your name. If all of those people now got calls once a quarter, what do you think that's doing, right? There's a huge component. And if all those people follow you on Facebook and then see like, oh, our group listed this one and our group just sold this one and our group did this and our group did that. You've got the three right there. That's it.
I know. And plus that flyer that our market center sent out, the one I'm talking about, there are pictures on it.
Nope. Exactly.
Killalon went red. Oh my God. I got so many like, oh my God, we saw your picture in the mail and this and that. So it's,
worth every penny. In fact, before Kay joined our team, when she first was talking to me, she's like, you guys are everywhere. And I'm just realizing she's just driving by my overpriced, hard to sell listing on Ripker every day. And it's like, you know what? That awareness that I will listings on main roads, I'm all about, especially in town. I took a land, you guys saw my land listing in Faison, on the corner of Faison Lakes and Killalon Road. That's impossible to sell land. Like it's impossible to sell, but it's okay.
My son will actually be going back up on Keel because we're actually doing a built-to-suit. We're building a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath colonial. If anybody wants 1.5 acres.
I don't know about that one, but I actually was looking at that land because I'm looking to buy land. I'm just gonna let it sit for like another year so I can lowball you to death.
you might be. We're hopefully breaking ground in June. So if that's the case, I'm hoping I probably list it before. I mean, I can list it now, right, Kurt? I don't have to wait for us to finish building.
No, I think you can. I think you're good. But the bottom line is sign in the ground, quarterly calls, post on social media. you put all of that together. It's a game of incremental percentages. There's not one pill that you can swallow that fixes everything. It's incremental percentages. Everything adds up. You can't get to 100% with one thing. It's not, I'm paying Zillow, so I'm getting business. Like that is not the one size fits all fix. You do all these things that cost little to no money, add up to 100% much easier than just trying to find that one trick. There's no trick.
Kurt, I have a question. Can you hear me? So how much better do you feel making the phone call is than texting? Because I don't know if anyone else is encountering this, but a lot of even some of my best friends, the Daras, for example, they're a perfect example. I could call them right now. They probably won't answer the phone, but they'll answer a text message in 4.5 seconds. I just have a lot of people in my sphere, just 3 this past week. They don't, I've called them last week, didn't answer, called them this week, didn't answer, sent a text, they answer right away. I just find a lot of people, I don't know if it's the young age group or what, they text, they don't do phone calls.
Yeah, and that's just going to be more and more of the trend. That's not going away. I look at kids that I used to teach guitar to that are now like 16, 17. I don't think they've made a phone call in their life. Honestly, I'll just have the conversation. If it's going to be on text message, I don't care. That's fine. I will absolutely text. But don't make the reason that you're texting because you're too afraid to pick up the phone. Make that distinction. If you're texting because you're afraid to pick up the phone, that's the wrong move. If you're texting because you know that they're going to respond, that's the right move. Matt Regan, I love that. Comment, Instagram, Facebook stories. That's massive. Go through your Facebook and Instagram. Like you should be, Meg, what do you do? 555? Are you, I don't know if you can hear this if you're on this, but 5 comments, 5 likes, 5
direct messages.
Thank you.
5 comments, 5 likes, 5 direct messages every single day. 555 rule.
Thanks, honey. But it's so true. No matter like whoever you're communicating with. I mean, like it's Meg, you're actually good at this. I'm looking at our team Instagram, but it's awesome. You could be connecting with go down the list. Matt, already going fire reaction to your beach pick. Like all good. I'm there. Or yo, what beach are you at? Like we're staying connected. We're in a connected world. This is amazing. It's miraculous. I can't even believe that we could do this. It's unbelievable. Like just stay in touch. Jamie, what's up?
Yeah, so I'm not very big on social media at all. So if you're doing 555, are you insulting so say you only like 5 or comment on 5. What about the other 40 that you didn't? Does that look bad? Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to insult someone, but I don't have time to
You're so courteous, Jamie. I love that. It's like, well, you'll get them tomorrow. It's all good.
Okay.
The point is, on Instagram, I'm following 1,149 people. I'm not going to like everything. And frankly, they're not going to see what I'm putting up. And just like if you put something up, you're not auditing your friends based on who clicked like on.
Right, but like I don't care, but I feel like a lot of when it was my birthday, like my husband's like, you have to like and whatever. I'm like, were you fucking kidding me? Every single person, I have to acknowledge every comment and I don't have time for that.
You don't.
He's like, well, then people are going to be like, well, why'd she like theirs and not mine? And I'm like, oh my God, like people are that sensitive. And he's like, women are, yeah.
they're not that sensitive.
Okay.
If you don't respond, the birthday, I'm going to unpack the birthday one because that to me is a missed opportunity. If you look at my birthday posts every year, I'm like, I'm commenting because these are all people that could buy or sell real estate. This is, These leads came to me. Can you believe
Right.
it? Just for being another trip around the sun, these people came to me. I love it. So,
Right.
so in that regard, are they going to be offended that you didn't comment or respond? No, don't worry about
Okay.
their opinion there if you didn't engage with something they put up.
Okay.
That's not a big deal.
So someone's not going to hold on to, well, she liked so-and-so's post, but not mine. So
not
okay.
at all. Not
Okay.
at all.
Maybe a close relative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom puts stuff up all the time that I don't even engage with. So I don't know about that. But you can literally go through the list. I mean, if I could share my phone right now, my first 4 people on Instagram right now. Auto Couture is a BMW shop. I'm selling a house to one of their mechanics. Heather used to work for me. She's buying next year. Josh, I referred to an agent in New York. And Emily is a spouse of the person that's buying at that mechanic shop. That's literally just the first 4 people, just because I'm staying in touch. And the first post is a guy who's closing in a week with his M3. Like, it's not a coincidence that my feed is filled with people that are going to do real estate transactions with me. And it's just because I'm staying in touch. It's really simple. Literally, case in point. So I'm following 1,150 people. First 3, client. These are car photos, I know, but client. I didn't plan that. But staying in touch, it's so powerful. These people I'm not expecting them to do business with me. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to stay in touch with them because I want to be their realtor of choice, but I'm legitimately interested. You know, the last one I put up is, you know, Corey and Nikki, they're investor, you know, first time investors. Like they sat down and grabbed coffee with us just to talk shop and have fun. Cause they're like, you guys look like you have fun doing this. And we're like, yeah, we do. So we're just engaging everybody that we can.
Kurt, is there a difference in your opinion between Facebook and Instagram? Is there a one?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that?
The platforms are all different, and you don't have to be on all of them. You just have to be on ones that you're going to use. So
okay.
There are some people that use TikTok at a really high level. I don't have a TikTok. I'm probably not going to have a TikTok. That doesn't make it not an opportunity to connect with people. There are some people that can connect at a high level on Snapchat or Twitter or LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn, but I know people that have huge connections and huge networks on LinkedIn that I don't, it's not a medium that makes sense for me. But Facebook, I have a strong presence on because I like the platform for me. And Instagram, I have a strong presence on because I like the platform for me. Okay. And if it's just one of those, wherever your friends are, wherever your network is, and whatever's exciting to you, I like the function of Instagram. I mean, Instagram and Facebook are very, very similar. They're obviously Instagram owns Facebook, or Facebook owns Instagram, but that's a very comfortable media for me, and that's where I live because I'm comfortable there. Okay. And if you're not comfortable with any of them, that's the point where I'd say find the one that you're comfortable with the most and just double down on getting comfortable with it. Okay. Cool. All right, anybody? Last questions. We're nearing the end here. I appreciate you guys and your time. Hopefully this was useful. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to reach out to me. Email, I'll put in here. Phone number. If you don't know how to get in touch with me, that's how to get in touch with me. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to reach out. I'm always around to answer phone calls, texts, questions. Don't hesitate to think of me first when you need your real estate advice. That closing you can use every time you're on these calls. So I'm just kind of translating it here, but hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend, and talk to everybody soon.